need your help, man. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and joined our community. Do it now. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode. You'll be the first to hear our latest stories and strategies.
Plus, subscribing helps us grow and reach more people just like you. It's a win-win. Your support means the world to us, and it motivates us to keep leveling up our game.
Don't forget, hit the notification bell too, all right? You're always going to be in the loop with the new episodes drop. We release new content every Thursday at noon Eastern.
So what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button now. And let's continue this journey together.
Thanks for all your support, everyone. We can't wait to see where this journey takes us next.
Until next time.
Peace.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Level Up with Larry and Leo, where we turn trials into opportunities and dreams into reality. I'm Larry, and the co-host, Brother Leo.
I'm in the house. How's everybody doing? Thank you again for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share. I think we're going to have a great episode.
We're diving in today. It's not going to be a normal episode like we usually do. We are in the height of election season, and we chose violence this morning. We want to stir up conversation around the election cycle. Why not? Right now, I believe today is the 28th. The official election day is the 5th. So I think that's next week or something. We have early voting going on right now. And we decided we wanted to kind of spin this conversation in a different way and talk a little bit about the election and how that impacts us as aspiring entrepreneurs or people who are trying to level up in our everyday life. But before we do, we want to thank today's sponsor, Next Level Media Marketing, as well as Curb and Key Realty. So hit us up if you need any marketing, or if you're in the Tampa area or Florida and you need a house, Leo could hook you up. But we want to dive into today's episode. I'm the originator of this idea. So let me give some context. Before we dive into today's episode, I promise you it's a doozy, and it is controversial, and I am expecting, I really, really hope, I know we say this all the time, but I really want to know your thoughts on this idea in the comments. Whether you agree or disagree, let me know. But let me give a little bit of context. First of all, this may or may not be controversial. I'm actually African American. I know you think I'm Puerto Rican. I know you think that I'm Cuban or any of the Hispanics above, but I'm actually black. My father is black from Georgia, and my mom is white from Oregon. So black, white. That's what created me. And so I am a part of the African American community. I live in Georgia. And if anyone knows anything about Georgia, Georgia is the swingest of swing states, okay? And I live in the Atlanta metro area. Most of the Atlanta metro area is blue, right? We have a bunch of counties, and it's the most populated area of Georgia, and it is very Democratic. My daughter had a soccer game yesterday. We had to drive about an hour south. And when you go south of the Atlanta area, it is red. Trump signs everywhere. It is a swing state, so highly contentious. So I've been getting text messages, about 3 or 4 a day, telling me, go vote for this, go vote for that. Some from Trump, some from Kamala. And another caveat, I'm independent. I'm not a part of either party, okay? I've had my years where I've been more on the blue side. I've even had some years on the red side. Not gonna lie, I've been in both camps. Right now, though, I'm independent because I think for myself. I'm an independent thinker. Like, I'm actually trying to figure out what these people are gonna do for me. I think in terms of personal interests. Okay? All of that being said, as a member of the African American community, I personally believe if we want to see the change that we've been promised for years, because it's so funny, it's something that I find hilarious. Every time around election season, there is like this intense push to get African Americans out to vote. And African Americans have played a major role in electing many officials. So around this time, you just see so many people catering to the African American community, talking about, I mean, even Brother Joe goes on the Breakfast Club and has the audacity to say that if you don't vote for me, you're not black. So all of these things happen. Yet, and we have been allowed to vote for, I don't even know how long. 1965, that's when African Americans were allowed to vote. And I want to point this out before I say what I'm going to say. There have been just as many Democrat presidents as there has been Republican Democrats since that day. And I'm thinking, and I'm wondering to myself, there's still a high level of mass incarceration. Now, black folks only make up what? I don't even know how much of the population that black people actually make up. Maybe 13%? Yet, if you look in today's prisons, the disproportionate amount of African Americans who are in prison as opposed to the other races is crazy. And I can guarantee you, African Americans do not do most of the crimes in America. Economic inequality, that still exists. Redlining, which still has a significant impact on African American families. Police brutality, that, every 6 months we get another video, right? All of these things. And that's just off the top of your head. Like the amount of inequality for a group who literally built this country. Think about that. For 400 years, built a country that now they have to suffer in. In my opinion, I believe that African Americans, for at least one election, should come together and boycott the election.
In the comments right now, go in the comments and tell this dude he crazy.
Here is why I think that's effective. Think about the bus boycott that MLK led in Birmingham. Think about that. The bus boycott. What was happening? Black people had to go to the back of the bus. They were being mistreated. MLK pulls up and says, yo, we ain't going on no bus. We walking. Nobody rides the bus. We will figure it out. We don't need their little bus. And after a amount of time, once that revenue start getting hit, then they're like, all right, we got to figure something out. We're losing a little bit too much money. See, here's the thing. Here is why I think this is so powerful. Until a group of people or people in general, until you show how much your vote matters, it doesn't. Because how many times are we told to vote, and yet none of the problems that we're facing get addressed? I believe if you hire somebody, sometimes if you don't put pressure on them to do what you hire them to do, they're going to continue to do the song and dance with you time and time again on either side of the aisle. I am saying this is not me saying for one party or the other. Y'all can have that conversation in another episode. Y'all could talk about that. All of that. I have my own personal views. Leo has his own personal views. This ain't that. What I'm saying is, until a group, us as a community, shows the country that our vote actually matters and we are actually holding you accountable, and actually show them by demonstrating real action and resistance. This is not just, oh, I'm not going to vote. This is an actual resistance saying, no, this is what we need from the person that we put in office. None of this, oh, we're going to do this for minorities. No, not minorities. Black. BLACK. What are you going to do for black people? Because it was not minorities who built the country. It was black people. So don't just lump us in with all non-whites and think that you're doing something for us, because they're not. There are unique individual things that need to happen in the black community, and the black community, until we decide that you're actually we're going to hold you to the fire and say, this is what we need from you, they're going to keep just doing the same old song and dance. It seems like it's every single 4 years. It's the same old story, and nothing significant changes in the community. There needs to be a stop. I believe we need to boycott the 2028 election. I'm going to say it, and then tell them, if y'all don't do nothing, we're going to boycott the next one and the next one until you recognize that our vote actually matters. You have the floor.
Bruh, if my wife heard this, her skin would crawl, and she would have like a 30-minute just go off. But let me explain to you why you're wrong. One, I believe that too many people have died, suffered, lost their life in an effort to gain.
I will address that in my next. I will address that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
For us to simply hold back our vote. Two, I believe removing yourself from the table isn't as effective. What I would suggest would not be boycotting. I'm
writing down what you just said. Go ahead. Keep going.
I wouldn't suggest boycotting and completely withholding your vote and not going to the polls, because people in general are not really likely to vote. That's why there's always a push to vote. And I will agree that, there's a lot of pandering that goes on around this time of year to elicit votes from not just us, Black Americans, but from the solicit vote. But I personally feel is that it would be more effective for the voting block, take that voting block and put it behind a third party that is not going to win, but stands on the issues that are most important to us. But to simply remove yourself from the conversation is what some people want anyways. Yeah! Boycott, bro. Yeah, go ahead, boycott. They doing you wrong, sis. They doing you wrong, bro. Keep it up. Boycott. Hey, look, this is what we're going to do. Because the bottom line is that most elections in most countries are run by corporate giants. They are not what can you do, it's how popular can you get and how much can you sell to people that you're going to do. And then when you get in there, you bring up 150 stories of, oh, this stopped us, that stopped us, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that, right? And my opinion is, yeah, let's do something different, but don't take yourself away from the table. Too many people have died to get us a seat at the table. And if we are to magnify our voice, we should unite our voice, not behind red or blue, but unite our voice behind another party with a specific plan of action that will, yes, benefit blacks, and but benefit what we feel like it will benefit the country as a whole, and make that maybe not the red, not the blue, maybe the black party, I don't care what it's called, but a party that's built and saying, hey, we're all going to put our voting block behind this party, and then see what they do. It's going to be pretty equal, right? It's going to be pretty equal once we're out of the equation. I think, honestly, once we're out of the equation, a large part of the black voting block has been held by the Democratic Party. It wasn't always like that. It used to be held by the Republican Party, but things have shifted, times have shifted. Now, if we could shift to another place, I think that's a better approach than to just simply stay home. Staying home ain't gonna do nothing, right? You brought up the bus boycott. Though that's economic power. Like if black African Americans exercise the $1 billion+ of economic power that we have every year and push it towards a specific end and push it towards companies that support and that champion things that you talked about, like prison reform and so on and so forth, then we would see change. Once you start taking money out of somebody's hand, then they'll listen. But if you're just saying, hey, I'm going to stay home, That's fine. That's what we've been wanting. We didn't want to give y'all the right to vote. To tell the women to stay home too. You feel me? Because we still should have a voice at the table. We just should direct it at a different path, is my opinion.
All right, let me demolish this. All right, number one, died to vote. They died for freedom. They died for us to have freedom. It's always that, oh, people died for you to vote. Okay. And we've been voting since 1965, and not much has progressed since then. So that's number one. Number two, a boycott is not removing yourself from the table. It is actually strengthening your position at the table. You think in such extremes, and there's no long-term play. See, if you're going to do something like this, you'd have to be thinking in terms of an 8 to 12 year run, right? It's strategy. It's chess, not checkers. You're saying, okay, if we remove ourselves from this election, we can go back to these same parties and we can we negotiate and say, hey, you see the reason, especially, you mentioned like that African Americans have been rocking with the Democrats, and I'm not, again, I'm independent, but I'm a kind of talk to this. Like, we've been rocking with the Democrats for a minute, and I honestly feel like we need a little bit more from the Democrats. I feel like they kind of take us for granted. Hence, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Like, what? No, like, fam, we kind of need, we need the Democrats to just, because I think sometimes we get these moral victories and not, and what about the substantial addressing of our issues? Anytime people feel like you're just going to vote for them and there's not even any consideration, then they're going to continue to take your vote for granted. That's what I'm saying. There has to be a push where you come to them and you say, no, we're not just going to vote for you because we're black. We're going to vote for you if you do something for black people, not minorities, black people. BLACK. That is what we need. We need a black agenda. A black agenda to address the number of issues that black people continue to have. Oh, but what about Oprah? What about Oprah? What about this person? What about that? So we take the exception and we make them the rule? You get what I mean? There's like all of this, okay, this person's successful, therefore, what are y'all complaining about? Man, listen. And I want us to understand, like, and especially in the context of this episode, me and Leo believe that what we do in our house is way more important than what they do in the White House. Like, nobody's coming to save us. Right? We address, like, we understand that, but we also understand that we all live in a political society, and politics can either be used for you or against you, and you have to have some level of political understanding in order to navigate the world that we live in. That's just the reality. So it's important for us to understand that, and we should not just say, oh, because Beyonce endorsed a candidate, that means, oh, we're gonna go and vote for that candidate. You get what I mean? Like, that's a lot of this stuff is just like kind of entertainment and emotional, but when it all comes down to it, it's gonna be another 4 years of the same thing, unless you actually make an organized effort to say, no, we're not gonna keep just doing this dance and pony ride with you. We want some actual change to happen. So we're not removing ourselves from the table. We are just strengthening our position at the table. See, there's a difference between disengaging from the election and engaging in the election in a resistance. It's not passive. A boycott's not passive. You're saying, this is you saying, I would vote. I would pull up, but I'm not. I'm going to just stand right in front and watch y'all lose. Because we've done this so long, and we still have not seen our issues addressed. Now, I understand that some people might say, man, imagine what can happen if this person got elected or that person by the result of you not voting. Well, sometimes you have to sacrifice short-term for long-term results. Folks had to walk during the boycott. And you even mentioned the boycott, and the bus boycott was economical. So is this. There's economics involved in election. There's a lot of money that gets used in an election to win an election. Hundreds of millions of dollars that gets spent on advertising and all of these different things in order to win.
But that money comes from corporate sponsors. It really doesn't come from the average individual. It comes from PACs, super PACs.
Obama got everybody paid. Like that was, remember 08? Like that was wild. That's what you're doing. So now, obviously, is this saying never vote again? No. This isn't saying, okay, we're dismissing our vote or anything like that. It's saying for a short term, a very short term, we're going to have an organized effort to push the hand of the powers that be and say, you have to earn it. That's all it is. You have to earn it.
Bro, I think doing that, because elections are, like you said, 8 to 12 years. That's teaching new behavior. That's like 8 to 12 years of new voters. So the voter that just turned 18 during the first election that they boycotted, 12 years later, bro, that's teaching a behavior that I don't think is easily turned around if you're withholding your vote. That's why I'm saying practicing the voting, but having it be more behind issues than just than a specific party is, even if you have to mount up a third party that you know is not going to win, that party will continue to bring issues to the forefront that the other parties will have to acknowledge and say, oh, wait a minute. They're polling that they're taking X amount of African American votes, X amount of Hispanic votes, X amount of white votes, X amount of white evangelicals, X amount of, and they're like, oh, wait a minute. It's making the pie smaller, thereby making it harder to win. Then teaching that behavior, I don't think is going to be good in the long run. I forgot to address
that part. So the third party play. The issue with that is black people aren't monolithic. So that actually would be more.
But you're making it a monolithic thing by saying, okay, everybody stay home. Everybody stay home.
But it's monolithic in terms of action, not in terms of vote.
But
because if you're getting people to go into the voting pool, like how can you even gauge whether or not people vote for that person or they're just going to go back and vote for the person they were going to vote for in begin with? Like that's
the same thing. The person could say, "Hey, I'm going to boycott," and then show up on the day of election and go. But
no, I know, but I think you can organize, because when you're talking about like creating a third party, that to me it's an ideological challenge, and you have so many different opinions within the black community. Like the black community, while most of the time is probably more Democrat, there's still so many different things that go into why people vote for what they vote for. It's very emotional. It's tied to morality, spirituality, all of these various considerations that go into it. It'd be really difficult to get, especially now, to get an entire race of people behind a particular candidate. That to me would be a lot bigger of a challenge than just saying resisting or doing something along those lines. That's always been something in black history since forever, like from MLK and all of these different things, the protests, even the BLM protests that happened 4 years ago. Like there's always been protests within the black experience, right? Fighting against injustice. What I'm saying is, and I know this is controversial, but I'm like, I understand the emotion. Trust me. Like I understand the fight for voting. I have people in my family who have been in politics. I have it's been something that has been preached to me since I was really, really young. That how important voting is, all of these different things. And I agree. I'm not saying it's not important. I believe voting is important. But I also understand that when you simply hire somebody and there's not pressure to get them to perform, and there's always excuses for why they didn't do what they said they were going to do, the only way to solve that, the only way is to put pressure on them, is to tell them, if you don't do this, there are going to be consequences. That's a level of political sophistication, I believe, is necessary to see real change for the Black community. I honestly believe that.
But I think what you're saying is developing a behavior that is going to be, at the end of the day, destructive. And I say this because, like I said, you're asking someone who just turned the voting age to wait 8, 12 years. That could be until they're 30, 31 to actually cast the ballot and to vote. By then, they're already like, they're already checked out. Like, so that's why I'm saying there's no way of keeping that level of engagement simply by boycotting, and maybe establishing a earn my vote party where, hey, if they didn't earn your vote, you come and you vote for this party. I just think the behavior of not voting is not going to be.
I am sorry. I just can't. I don't believe that. I don't believe, because what you're saying is that this is something that creates a passive, well, I don't care. This is not passive.
How are you going to keep engagement, bro? How are you going to, in order for that to be pushed, that has to be a big, and I'm going into tactical, which I probably shouldn't, but to push that level of engagement, that requires marketing, that requires connecting with the people, that requires millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah. So where is that money coming from?
That's a whole different conversation. This is just the idea. This is big picture. But
let me finish. B, once you establish that, we're not going to vote, and let's say you get 50% of the Black electorate not to show up, right? Because you're not going to get 100%.
Yeah, totally not. Totally.
And the first election, then the midterm election, you get 70% not to show up, because people don't show up for midterms.
Right.
Anyways. And then the next election, you get 80% not to show up. Mm-hmm. So we are essentially out of the voting population.
To be honest, I feel like this is actually going to, when one of the politicians say, we agree to your terms, we are going to fight for you when we get in an election, I actually think it's going to do the exact opposite. I think because right now, to be honest, there are I think one of the biggest competitions for this election is the couch. And that's been something that's been said for so long. Like, you're talking about creating bad habits. Like, this would not create, I think it would do the exact opposite, because right now, for a lot of people, they don't even feel like their vote even matters or it even makes any difference. So there's already that gravitational pull towards not engaging at all. There's already a high level of disengagement. Right now, you're actually saying, no, we understand how important voting is, and we want to unify around actually getting something out of the vote. So that way, when that time comes that a politician actually says, all right, we're going to fight, we're going to do what we say we're going to do, I think it's going to increase the level of engagement in the voting process.
And that same politician could give you 20 million excuses in the next 4 years of why they didn't do what they promised to do.
And that requires a whole nother process of actually engaging and continuing to put pressure on that president when they're in office or whatever. Like, all of that, I'm just more like the concept of it and how important it is to earn a vote, instead of just saying vote because a lot of times, just be honest, like, you vote, you're not really expecting much from that person. And I know there's a limitation of what a president can do. I get that. But I also say, with all of that being said, there needs to be some actual tangible evidence that you did something for the Black community. That's just what I think. And I think if there is some pressure where we're not just going to vote for somebody for the sake of voting for them, but actually requiring some level of action, you can sign a law. You can sign some legislation that is Black specific. Like, think about this, bro. Think about this. I remember not too long ago, there was a shooting that happened here in Georgia at I think it was a massage parlor, an Asian owned massage parlor. I think President Biden signed an executive order against Asian hate bill, where when after those people died, he signed a legislation saying, they're like against an Asian hate crime or whatever. I can't think exactly what he did. And I was just like, and of course that's good. Like every community should be safe. But I'm like, when was the last time that bill was signed for black people? Like, how many times does that happen? It's just funny, man. Or even like the big topic, reparations.
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
But think about that, bro. Why?
Because the world is run by corporate giants, and there's no corporate giant saying that there should be reparations.
I think it's because there's really no political unity or real pressure coming from black people.
It don't matter. I don't think that matters.
No,
I really don't think
it does.
Bro,
I think it would. I think it would make a difference.
No.
Boy,
the world is run by corporate giants, bro. Corporate giants. Everything, I would say 90% of everything that you see pass in legislation has a big corporate backer behind it. Everything from the LGBTQ community, every community that you see progressing at a rapid pace and getting legislation through, there is a corporate backer behind it. I'm telling you, money makes the world go around. And without it, there's going to be all talk and very minimal progress until we get that. And we don't have that.
This was the piece. Many people say it was this topic that actually got MLK killed. Once he began to deal with the economics, he's like, all right, we dealt with the voting, we dealt with all of that. Yeah. Now we're gonna get to the economics. And it was right before he was going up to DC for the poor man's campaign, that they were like, yeah, you ain't leaving Memphis, fam. Like, we
gotta get him out of there.
And that was the part. And I think this is the sticking point, because you could talk about voting and all of these different things, but when it comes to economics, that's the piece that black people really need. That's the piece that is going to like shrinking that wealth gap and giving them more, like actually giving black people not necessarily a hand out, but a hand up. Like giving some action, because a lot of the people that you see that are successful, the reason they're successful is because they had a better foundation. That's just the reality. When you have a better foundation, it's going to increase your likelihood of success. Not going to make it guaranteed, but it's going to give you a higher likelihood of success. What we need to fight for is for more economic power. And a lot of times that's tied to political power as well. Every other group understands that. Indians, Jews, Asians, they understand this. We're the only ones that don't.
I don't know. I think we understand, but I think we keep waiting our turn.
And that's the problem.
I agree.
That's the problem.
I agree.
You keep waiting and they're like, okay, keep waiting. You keep waiting. And it's like, dude, when are we going to say, nah, man, we're kind of done playing this game with y'all, because we get nothing out of it. Other groups get something out of it because they put pressure. Okay. If you look at even like the LGBTQ, they have garnered a significant amount of political power and they've gotten laws passed. Why? Because they put pressure.
No, they have money.
Both.
No, they have money that is pushed forward by faces that are familiar.
I get that, and I totally I know that's a big part of it. But at the same time, they said I'm sure they're not all monolithic. I'm sure there are people there's all different types of viewpoints. But they say,
oh yeah, I know personally a really staunch Trump supporting gay man.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they're like, yo, if we want certain things passed, we got to put pressure. It's understanding that you cannot lay down and just take what people give you. You can't. No Diddy, no, like you can't lay down and take it. You have to tell him no. You have to tell him no. You have to. You gotta say, you know what? No. And it's amazing. A lot of times you feel like you're gonna lose. What do you lose by putting pressure on people? You don't lose anything. It's amazing when you say, you know what? No, this is what we expect. A lot of times you might get pressure at the beginning, but you know what? That pressure will show you who they really are. If you getting mad because I'm putting demands on this relationship, then that tells me how you feel about this relationship. And the fact that you don't see me as your equal, you see me as just something to get what you want. No, we're equal. We contribute. We have to work twice as hard to get anything done. And that's not how it should be. Again, in the comments, tell me what you think. But I'm just like, man, forget this. And I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote with, and I'm going to be resisting in my mind the whole time. And I'm going to be upset going there. And I'm going to be upset afterwards. And on November 6th, I'm probably still going to be upset. But I understand how important it is to vote. I understand there are people who did not vote, couldn't vote, for one reason or another. However, it would be amazing to me, and it would be something that I would absolutely get behind if we started actually demanding what we want instead of accepting what people think we should get.
That's a flash in the pan to say not vote. What will be more effective, in my opinion, would be to hold, and it's boring, and that's why people aren't going to do it, to hold quarterly talks and pushes and rallies around X, Y, or Z that this person that during the campaign promised to do X, Y, or Z for this community. Mm-hmm. And every quarter we present that to them again and again and again. What have you done? What have you done? What have you done towards this? What have you done to push this forward? Have you talked to members of Congress? Do you have enough votes to pass this legislation? What is it going to take? Have you whipped enough votes?
To that point, in my opinion, I don't think this is limited just to the national election. Like, this same energy should be...
there's more, Local,
you should bring it down to your local elections and put pressure on your mayor, put pressure on your senator, put pressure on your governor. This is, we've got to gain a level of political savviness where we just say, man, like, dude, we are not about to just, you have to do something for us.
But bro,
there are if we grew a spine and said, this is good, there is going to be consequences. Not just talk, but there are going to be consequences if you don't do this. That's the part. Like, actually creating consequences that will affect them, that we know will affect them if they do not do what we want.
Bro, guess what? And I could be the pessimist in this. That ain't happening. You know why? Because you still got to pay the bills. You still got to do what you got to do to feed your family. You still got to, go on a little vacation now and then. Like, once you've done that, most people have checked out. We got to live our lives. And then in 2 years, we'll get back at it again. And in order for somebody to be dedicated to doing that, that has to be their job. And in order for it to be their job, they have to be able to feed their family doing this. And it all goes back to economics. And that's why I'm saying there's no progress, right, to the vision without provision. Like, people gotta get it's gotta be money. It comes down to money. Money, 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 money. And the person that you see that is in whatever seat of government that they're in, guess what? They had tons of money backing them. Even in mayoral elections, like mayors, property appraisers, like all these elected offices that you have locally, they're pushed forward by money. Guess what? A developer might put their guy in and raise money in it, help fund their campaign.
You brought up economics, which is true. Black folks have money.
Yes, but our money is not united.
That is also, so it all kind of ties together, because like, if collectively, I forgot how collectively Black folks would make, I forgot how rich of a nation, just in America, a pretty substantially rich nation. And there are Black billionaires. There are Black people with significant income. Umar calls it like the Black bourgeoisie, right? Like, you got it in.
There's a lot of that in Atlanta right now.
Oh God. But just in general, like all over, like it's just kind of like you're married. You become married to the white power structure, where you're not gonna unite behind something that's gonna help the rest of the group, because in your mind you're like, I fought so hard to get out. I don't want to go back. Like, I don't want to be a part of that anymore. Like, I had to do all of this just to get out of there. I'm enjoying my white life. Like, I'm happy.
Not white life.
Like, bro, I'm out of there.
And I know it's a tough subject that we dealt with today. I encourage everybody to get educated, vote your heart, and just know that you're going to be disappointed. That's basically how you vote. You vote knowing you're going to be disappointed. Because why? Because the people with the money, the corporate giants, they have people dedicated to make sure their agenda goes through.
Yeah, lobbyists.
And so really they are there every week, every month, pushing that agenda. That's their job.
Yeah. And
they get paid well for it. So for me and you, the viewers that are watching, that see some things that should be done to help, we don't have any lobbyists that are going in there.
You can, though. You can.
Bro, I'm a pessimist when it comes to politics, bro. Like, bro, if you're not moving the money, like, we really not going. That could bring forth a whole different conversation about election reform and how much corporate money is corrupting that.
I think more so it requires a vision. Like, their money gets behind vision.
But it's not their vision, though. Like, I can give you the vision and the money. Like, hey, I want you to do X, Y, and Z, and we're willing to back it with $100 million.
I think on a large scale, the black community lacks leadership. There really hasn't been a significant leader in the black community since MLK.
On purpose. But listen, look at the marijuana agenda. You remember how frowned upon this is your brain, weed was? And guess what? They got some money behind it. And they started locally. They started in the states. The states started to say, okay, yes. Why did the states start saying yes? Tax revenue. Oh, okay. Let's start using it for medical use. Another way of relieving pain and aches and anxiety. Medical use. And they saw the tax revenue. Then they moved from medical. Oh, it's safe. It's tested. Let's do it recreational. Okay, New York. Okay, California. Look how much more money you guys are making in tax revenue. Look what you could do with the money that you made with the tax revenue. All right, let's decriminalize it. All right, most states now, all you do is you get a ticket if you have an amount of weed that is not for distribution, right? But it wasn't like people were using weed to self-medicate for decades before that happened. But when the money got behind it, that's when they're like, oh, yeah, we believe that. Why? Because you had hundreds of millions of dollars behind it. And I believe in 10 years, weed will be legal federally, and dispensaries and all that will be able to put their money in banks and be invested and be part of the ecosystem, the economic ecosystem, just like alcohol is. Why? Because of money. And that's how you affect change.
The key to the economic piece, though, that you're talking about is you have to, the number one question that people are going to ask is, what's in it for me? Why should I do this? Why should I get behind this? Why should I donate to this? You think that Elon Musk likes Trump? No. Elon Musk hated Trump all the way up until 2022. All of a sudden, they're buddies. It's money. He's like, if Trump wins, I'm going to get a better tax break. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that. And I can grow my wealth. At the end of the day, no one really likes each other that much. It's about what can you do for me? What did it for me? And whoever garner this type of movement, because it would have to be something significant, you have to go to the big donors and you have to show them what your proposal, your project is, how it's going to benefit them. Because no one will do anything if it doesn't benefit them. That's just the way that America works. It's not doing. No one does anything out of the goodness of their heart. It's all about what's in it for me. What have you done for me lately? That's how it works.
And that's why I'm saying it goes back to where the money resides. And those companies that are willing to put money and effort and put boots on the ground to do these things, those are the people that are going to get the progress. Those are the people that are going to get the legislation, right? Even overturning Roe versus Wade, a lot of times it was just talk, but then people started putting some real serious money behind overturning it in the terms of billions of dollars, right? And guess what? It got overturned. Bro, it's all economics, man. It goes down to and
to be honest, I don't think it would be as hard to get the money you would need for this. I would say the difficult part is the amount of money that's going to be used to try to go against it, and the amount of campaigns that the people that these powerful people are going to put to try to sabotage the leader, to try to go get, like, bro, MLK had no issue raising money. His issue was the freaking head of the FBI just was going all in, just trying to put these different claims about him and all of these things out there, like twisting the narrative and all of these different things. I mean, some of it might have been true, but at the end of the day, like,
flawed people, flawed individuals.
But the main objective was, I cannot let people think that this guy is good because he is coming against my objective. Raising the money, I think that you can probably find a way to raise the money. The issue is, how are you going to counteract the amount of negative press? Because if this actually became, like, imagine that, what is there, 30 million blacks? Let's say 15 million actually really did this. Can you imagine the press? Can you imagine how on both sides would be like going off about this? Well, maybe not the Republican would win, so they wouldn't be upset. But like, yo, CNN, MSNBC, all these places would be just going crazy against this, and it would be crazy. But I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't even think this would ever happen. I'm just talking, but this is my thoughts. These are my thoughts. Let me know if you think that there's any level of validity to it, or if this gives you any ideas or whatever. Again, we're all about just trying to level up and be better, but sometimes we have to talk. We got to leave just thinking about ourselves and think big picture as well, because that has an impact on whether or not we're going to be. A lot of times, the way the landscape of the national or international economy does play a role in our individual success, like it does.
I like low taxes, and I like when people have money to spend. That helps me.
I hate taxes. I hate paying taxes. Like, I promise you, I hate it. So I'm all for lower taxes, but there's some stuff I don't like too that, again, I'm not going to talk about on this.
Hey man, thanks for checking in. Please subscribe, like, share with a friend, engage in a discussion in the comments.
Go off in the comments. I don't care if you're a troll. Comment it, because your comment helps us get more people to watch it. So I don't care what you say. Just say it so we can get some more engagement on this podcast.
We love y'all.
Peace.
You see how sweet this is?
But you know what's really sweet?
You subscribing.
Subscribe now.
Peace.